So as a lot of you are probably familiar, I'm a big collector of Nintendo cleaning kits. I've shown many of these here on Retro Game Haul. I'm always in kind of a hunt, a proverbial hunt, to try and find these. And there's actually very few of them left that I don't have. I think with the one I'm about to show you, I think this pretty much seals the deal on me having all of them for every single cartridge-based Nintendo system. This is the more unusual version of the Game Boy cleaning kit. You may be asking what the difference is. The difference is basically in the lettering. The standard one has white letters, this has gold letters. I don't know specifically if this was only available outside the US. It is only one language on the back, so if it was outside the US, maybe England or Australia.
It's possible that it's a PAL release.
It could be. But regardless, these are definitely not easy to find. I search for cleaning kits pretty regularly out there, and I think this is maybe the second one I've ever seen. The first one got away from me. So I was very happy to be able to snag this one.
Definitely, kudos on that one.
Yeah, man. Cleaning kits is something that I actually have a genuine shot at completing as far as the Nintendo ones are concerned. So if I can get one for a reasonable price that I don't already have to add to the collection, I'm definitely going to jump on it every time I see it. So next up is a little curiosity that I found on eBay that I wanted to pass along to you guys. These are a pair of just regular NES controllers, but with a little added accessory. As you might see on the top there, these have supplementary turbo buttons. These are by no means Nintendo quality. Honestly, they're kind of light and flimsy, but standard kind of cross-style joypad, that we're all used to on the NES, and the rest of the controller layout is basically the same, save for the turbo buttons. But the reason I bring these up, guys, is kind of dollar for dollar, this is the best solution for a simple turbo controller that I found. They sell these in pairs. Just do a search on eBay for NES Turbo Controller from a particular vendor. I think they let these go for like $7 shipped a pair.
That's cheap.
It is very cheap. So if you just want like a simple, basic, effective turbo solution for those shooter games where you just are tired of freaking wearing your thumb out.
Fighting, like side-scrolling fighting games as well.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. That might not be a bad idea. So just dollar for dollar, if you're on a budget, like I'm sure most of us are, and you just want a basic turbo controller that you don't have to worry about being collectible or anything like that, just a simple turbo solution for $7, man, you and a friend can play
Give
these.
Give a close-up. That's actually, I like the look of that controller too. It's not a bad-looking third-party controller.
It's a little bit skinnier than a standard NES controller, but not too bad. The only complaint that I would have to make about it, guys, just be forewarned, the cords are a little bit short, maybe about a foot or so shorter than the standard NES controller, so you can rectify that either with the NES extension cord or just pull the NES closer in front of you. Mine sits on the table, which is right here in front of me, so it's not really a big deal to me, but I think the pluses outweigh the negatives on this one just for what you're getting for such a cheap price, so check it out.
Definitely.
Okay, so this next item I'm going to show you guys, I can guarantee you that 99% of you have never seen.
I've never seen it.
I have never seen another one of these for sale. I honestly did not know what the hell it was when I first saw it. I was like, what? I googled it and really didn't find much, but this is the Pro Power Grip. These are sold in pairs in the original box. Box is a little bit toasty, but not too bad. Okay, so as far as I can tell, guys, basically what this is, it's like a precursor to what we'll call the modern controller, like the modern PlayStation, Xbox, style controller that's got grips on it. So if you look at the picture there, you basically stick your NES controller in this thing, and it gives you supplementary grips. So it's kind of the extremely poor man's version of a controller upgrade. Like, instead of them building a whole controller, they basically just built frames for them, as cheap as that may be.
I think probably the closest you'll get to that is like those 3-button Genesis that have the slight curve to them.
Yeah,
that's about it.
That. Yeah, that's
about it, but nothing like this.
Solution. No.
Nothing like this.
The price on the back is listed at 99 cents. I can see why. So, it's made by a company called Toysmith, made in Taiwan, but I don't know. I mean, it's basically just a simple, cheap solution for getting a better grip, I guess, for the guys with the catcher's mitts hands, for their NES controllers. But I like little curiosities like this, especially for the NES.
Definitely.
So, as a rule, anytime that I see something that I haven't seen before, Mike Wolf on American Pickers has an expression that I tend to agree with. If you find something you've never seen before, that is the time that you buy it. So basically, you buy it when you see it. So I was lucky enough to pick up this one for a very good deal. That with the next item that you're about to see, I worked out a little bundle with them. So really cool, just kind of a little curiosity for the collection. And next up, we have the other item that I got from that same vendor. This one I actually have heard of. It's called the Zipper Controller. Excuse me. Made by a company called Bishu, which you would think would be some kind of like pseudonym for Hudson Soft, you know, because it's got the B on it.
Right.
They do make a controller. There's a Bishu controller that is similar to the Hudson Joy Card, because it actually has the B on it.
Oh, really?
So for those who are uninformed, they might think that it's actually a Hudson Soft controller, but it's actually not. There is another variation of this, if I believe I'm informed correctly, that I think it's either blue or green, where it's got a different overlay right here. But I really like the color of the joypad and the buttons there. I mean, you got a green joypad and you got yellow and red buttons.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You've also got adjustable auto fire switches, very much like the TurboGrafx 16, where it's got the standard flip up, flip down. So not only can you activate turbo, you can actually calibrate it as far as how much speed that you want to go to. Does have an extra long cord on it, so you get I think about an extra foot and a half of extension cord. Yeah. Finding one of these complete in the box, not that easy. Only seen a handful of these, and I was lucky enough to work out a bundle with that vendor between this and these. So very cool, very happy to have this one. One more quick thing I wanted to point out, guys. This is actually one of the very few third-party accessories I've ever seen that actually has the Nintendo seal of quality on it. Next up, we've got my only loose card for the month. I know for me that's a little unusual. Just wasn't a very good month for loose cards for me. We have Mystery Quest, which I am familiar with. I've never played. I really like Taxan games. They're really cool, and this one seems like an odd little fun, kind of spunky, almost Legend of Zelda-y kind of thing.
I actually, interestingly enough, I have the box, not the cart, and I thought the same thing, wanted to play it, haven't gotten around to looking for it yet, and told Jimbo here that maybe we could work something out, get him the box, that way he doesn't have a loose cart anymore and I can just start from scratch.
True that. Very cool. So, next two items mark a very big first for me. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of the TurboGrafx 16, and on my last episode of Retro Game Haul, you saw I finally got my Holy Grail console, the Turbo Duo, TurboGrafx 16 2.0. And what comes with that is the ability to play the Super CD games, which I always wanted when I was a kid, man. That was such a revolutionary thing back then, to play CD games. They were the first console to ever do that.
That's crazy.
They're very ahead of their time. I mean, the only other outfit in the universe that was playing CD-based games was computers. And NEC, you know, one of the companies that made the TurboGrafx, also manufactured computers. So they kind of incorporated that technology into their console. Again, very ahead of its time. I think, much like the Dreamcast, that's probably the reason why it failed too soon. It was just too much too soon. So I actually did not own any Super CD games. So I figured once I get the Turbo Duo, the CD drive in it is not functional. So once I get that repaired from our friends at East Starland, I'm going to need a couple of games to actually be able to test it. So I actually got a couple of games finally. These are my very first two Super CD games. First we have the Addams Family, one of the more common ones out there for the Super CD. Not really familiar with it. Obviously it's based on the movie from the 90s. And then we have one from my favorite company, Hudson Soft, who made the majority of the really good TurboGrafx 16 games, Buster Brothers. Very cool arcade game, kind of a shooter and stuff. I actually originally saw this and I thought, you know, this would make a really cool game we could do on Retro Game Lounge someday. Because it's co-op and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And it's a really cool, really fun game. It is a CD-ROM 2 system, so it's the upgraded one, which gives you a little bit better resolution stuff. That was like the next stage for CD-ROM games for the Turbo Duo. So.
And come on, Hudson Soft.
Yeah, you really can't go wrong with them. So I'm really looking forward to checking this one out. So next up, we've got a boxed Game Boy game, and you might think, this one looks a little large. This looks like it's the size of an NES game, and it actually is, as far as the box. You know, the Game Boy boxes are normally a lot smaller. They're about this size.
Yeah.
See the difference there? The reason this one is so large is it has the multi-tap for the Game Boy in it, so you can rock 4-player. I could be wrong, guys, but I am pretty sure that this was the first multi-tap game ever released for the Game Boy. I'm pretty sure.
You're correct on that.
That's why they boxed it. You can see on the back there, you have 4 Game Boys kind of networked there. So, you know, originally the Game Boy just had the single connecting cable so you could play, like, against your sibling in Tetris or something like that. So the whole 4-player thing was actually really awesome to be able to do that.
I don't think they even upgraded the link cables to go to 4-player until Game Boy Advance.
I think you're right, actually. That's true.
Yeah.
So, very cool. This actually is complete. It does come with the game and with the 4-player multi-adapter in there.
Very nice.
Got this for a ridiculously low price, very good condition box, just really couldn't turn it down. As you guys know, I'm a really big fan of the black box titles on the NES. I collect them both in loose card format, and I always try to get them complete in the box. The problem with that is that I've already got the majority of the ones that you can get for a pretty low price, and the ones that are left are getting kind of pricey. One of which would be Popeye, which I actually have complete in the box here. I got a pretty good deal on this one, definitely below the market value. I paid right around the $30 mark for it, for really decent condition box, a few creases here and there.
Yeah,
but
not bad though. I was going to say, that's in a pretty good condition box.
It is, considering its age, it's pretty sound, not too bad. It did come with a manual and everything with it. This is definitely one of the ones that's on the rise as far as cost is concerned. Definitely one of the harder ones to get, especially complete.
Get to it now.
Yeah, so get to it now before it gets out of control. But really happy to have this one. Just another one for the shelf to add to the black box collection. Very cool.
You must almost be done now.
I'm 16 more to go. So next up, we've got one of two actually.
Only
two ever exclusive Power Glove games that were ever produced. Was produced by Mattel, who also made the Power Glove, by the way. This one is Super Glove Ball, which kind of goes without saying. You basically use the Power Glove to catch the ball and throw it back and stuff. It's actually not that impressive of a game, really.
Really not.
Reaches a new dimension in gameplay, dimension of suck.
Yeah.
Pretty much, but
you kind of get disappointed that you bought the game in the first place.
You really do, but to be fair, this is an
that's like perfect condition. It looks like it's
box.
New.
It really does.
It looks like it's brand new.
It's still glossy. I mean, like
that's crazy.
It is. This is definitely one of my better condition boxes.
Someone probably bought it, didn't like the game, and then put it away.
Maybe even never played it. I don't know. So now that I've got this one, I need to get Bad Street Brawler, which is the other one. From what I hear, another equally terrible game, like you're a Street Fighter that beats up monkeys or something. I don't know. It's weird. So next we have a Konami game. I love collecting Konami boxes, as I told you guys. For a while there, they basically just had all their boxes were kind of the silver border, so that's how you're able to spot them out. And this one was actually built to work with the laser scope, as you'll see there. As notoriously reviewed by our fellow YouTube contributor here, Mr. James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd, where he showed basically that you can yell anything you want into that microphone, like shit or fuck, and it'll still fire. Like, you don't have to say fire. So needless to say, the companies out there were producing software to support that particular accessory. This one is just your basic shooter. You can use the light gun on this, I think. I think it's just a standard light gun style game. Yeah. But you can also use the laser scope, which was basically just a ridiculously overcomplicated light gun. So finally, last but certainly not least, we've got an
Jibbo. Come on now.
What? I mean, I need to show him it, don't I?
I understand you have your channel. I understand.
Well, yeah.
It's important to inform the viewers.
Yes.
This is just gonna make them sad, angry, jealous.
Probably hateful.
Hateful.
And just depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, it's not really that bad.
Or is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the infamous Power Glove. This is something that I always wanted to have when I was a kid, but it kind of came and went before I even had a chance to buy one. I don't remember actually knowing any kids in my school who actually had one of these, so these were, because the sales on them were so abysmal, I don't recall anyone actually having these, so I never actually got to try one out. I'm really looking forward to hooking this one up to my NES.
And like you said, it must be the large size as opposed to
this must be the large, as it actually fits.
Yeah, so it must be actually for adults.
I guess so. It must not have been made just for kids. It actually fits remarkably well. So it feels really weird to have this thing on, I'll be honest with you. But it honestly feels kind of cool.
Oh, it's so cool.
I mean, this is so...
It's so cool.
If there's
and
one...
it's in pretty good looking condition,
It is, man. It's not too scuffed up. The color's still good.
Yeah.
I mean, to be totally honest, and Tony might not understand this because he's a little bit young, but if there's one video game accessory that absolutely personifies the 80s, this is it. No contest. I mean, like, Nintendo ruled the video game market in the 80s. They were numero uno. And accessories like this, you know, even though they may be crappy and notorious, this is one of those things. I mean, this is like Mickey Mouse's ears. This just screams.
Like, think about this. Think about
this is cool. Without this, guys, we would not have the Wiimote.
There's no way.
This is
the
basically
precursor to all
It is.
motion-sensitive games.
This started it all. This was pretty much it. So this was more or less the prototype to the Wiimote. And you know, as Tony and I were discussing earlier, it would have been kind of cool if Nintendo had actually made it work with Punch-Out like
Right.
they showed on the commercial.
The
You know, they
games
showed
are
the
bad.
going. Yes.
Cool accessory.
Cool accessory. And we didn't really get any of that stuff that the Power Glove was purported to do by Nintendo until we got the Wii. So that was, let's see, Super Nintendo and 64, should we count Virtual Boy?
Yeah, count it.
Alright, Virtual Boy, GameCube, and Wii. So 5 generations later.
5 gens later.
Five.
Let's call it 4.5.
Alright, 4.5.
4.5 generations later.
4.5 generations later, we finally got a actual working
And at
Power
that
Glove.
point, you don't even look like you're half a robot anymore.
No.
So,
You're not Fred
come
Savage.
on now.
You know, you're not cool. You're not Lucas.
I was hoping to be like a full-on, like, Gundam Tron
Yeah,
style,
I wanna wear
like
a
something
suit.
like that. And then I can play Wii. That's
Yes.
what I want.
Ima-
That's what this should have become, rather than a
Imagine
small little controller.
this with Oculus Rift. You'd have like the Force. I'm telling you.
I'd
Like,
accidentally be hitting Jim in the face right now.
Yes. And that would be bad. So yeah, like, I mean, think about this. Nintendo makes something like this and you pair it up with an Oculus Rift, I have 2 words for you. Iron Man. So I want to thank everyone so much for stopping by and tuning into this episode of Retro Game Hall. I apologize, I will not be a slacker going on from here on out. I will get these out to you in a timely fashion every month, once a month, to show you guys my pickups and my finds out there in the wild of game collecting. So Tony, I want to thank you, my friend, for being my very first special guest here on Retro Game Hall. He gets a special Power Glove high five. Thank you for joining me. And
Hey, thanks for having me,
yeah,
man.
dude, my pleasure. Helping me go over my pickups for this month. You've been
Definitely.
a great co-host, man. I appreciate it. We'll have to get you back here sometime.
Oh yeah, I
Maybe
definitely
next
appreciate
time,
that.
bring your own wares, and we'll show everyone else.
Hey, good idea.
I'm
Yeah,
sure-
I got a whole bunch of stuff at home I can bring.
YouTube is basically show and tell for adults, man. So that's pretty much what people like to see. We're just kind of showing each other, hey, well, look what I got this week.
Ah.
So thanks everyone again so much for stopping by. And as always, to all my fellow gamers, retro or not, game on.